Welcome back. In this video, we will add pawn promotions to the game. Let me explain how it works and show you the end result at the same time. When a pawn reaches the other side of the board, it is promoted to another piece. For example, if player white moves his pawn to the top row, then this menu shows up. White must now pick which piece the pawn should be promoted to. The four options are a queen, a bishop, a rook, and a knight. Once the player makes up his mind, the pawn is replaced by the chosen piece. For player black, it works the same way, except that he must move his pawn to the bottom row. I will refer to squares in both the bottom and top rows as promotion squares. Alright, let's implement this. We start by adding a class for the pawn promotion move. We'll add the class to our moves folder. This class will move a pawn to either row 0 or 7, depending on the color, and then replace it by either a queen, rook, bishop, or knight. First, I'll adjust the namespace and make it inherit from our move base class. Its type property will return moveType.pawnPromotion. We also need a from position and a to position. And a variable containing the type of piece that the pawn will be promoted to. The constructor should take the from and to position as well as the new type. The body simply stores these values. Next, we add a helper method called createPromotionPiece. It returns a new piece with the stored new type and the given color. In the body, we switch on the new type . If it's the knight type, we return a new knight. And similarly for the bishop. And the rook. If it's the queen type or any other type, we'll return a queen. The type will always be either knight, bishop, rook, or queen, but this code produces no warnings. Now we can write the execute method. First, we save the moving pawn. It's at the from position on the board. Then we make that position empty. and create the promotion piece. It must have the same color as the moving pawn. You have to imagine that the pawn transforms into this piece. So we must set has moved to true. Finally, we place the new piece at the 2 position. This class is done. Now we just need the pawn class to generate this move. First, let's add a helper method that creates 4 promotion moves. The method takes 2 position parameters. From is the current position of the pawn, and to is where it will move to. Of course, 2 will be either in row 0 or row 7. In the body, we return 4 promotion moves. One that promotes to a knight, one that promotes to a bishop, one that promotes to a rook, and finally one that promotes to a queen. Promotions can occur both on forward moves and diagonal moves, assuming an opponent piece is captured. In the forward moves method, we'll add an if statement here. The pawn class is used for both black and white pawns, so we check if this pawn moves to either row 0 or 7. If so, we yield return all 4 promotion moves. Else, if the pawn does not reach the other end of the board, then we just need the normal move. So we'll move the line below up here. The method should now look like this. Using 4 separate moves for pawn promotions will complicate the UI code a little bit. But if we add computer-controlled players, it will be much simpler to work with. We don't have to check for promotions in the double move case, because pawns can only advance 2 squares on their first move. But we do have to add the check in diagonal moves. I'll copy it from here and paste it down here. Now we just have to replace 1 move position with 2. So if the pawn can capture a piece diagonally, we check if it reaches a promotion square. If so, we return the 4 available promotion moves, and if not, we just create a normal move. That's all we have to do in the chess logic project. Now we just have to handle promotion moves correctly in the UI project. We start by adding a new user control called Promotion Menu. This menu will show up on screen when a pawn is moved to a promotion square. The player can then choose which piece he wants to promote it to. The design of the menu will be very similar to the Game Over menu we made in an earlier part. It will consist of an outer border, I'll set its width to 275, its height to 125, and give it the border style. Inside the border, we add a grid. I'll set its bitmap scaling mode to high quality. This will ensure that the pieces look good regardless of the current scale. The grid should have two rows, one for the text and one for the piece images. I'll set the height of the top row to 1 star. And for the bottom row, let's use 1.5 stars. Okay, in the top row, we need a text block. It will display select a piece, with our beautiful text style. And font size 28. In the bottom row, we add a uniform grid for the piece images. It should have 1 row and 4 columns. If you want, you can also set the cursor to hand. This way, it will change when you hover over one of the pieces. Inside the uniform grid, we add 4 images. The first one is for the queen. We'll call it Queen Image. We also need an event handler for the mouse down event. And just so we can see it in the designer, let's make it display the white queen asset. We'll override this in the code behind in case a black pawn is being promoted. The images for the other pieces are similar, so I'll speed up this part. Great. That's it for the design. Now let's go to the code behind. Here we'll add an event called pieceSelected. And for this to work, we must use the chess logic namespace. You can just hit Ctrl dot and then press enter. The idea here is that the main window will register an event handler for this event. When the current player chooses which piece he wants, the event handler will be invoked with the type of that piece. So if the queen is chosen, we invoke it with pieceType.queen. And similarly for the other three pieces. Next, we must ensure that the pieces we display have the right color. So let's add a player parameter to the constructor. Now we can set the image sources to ensure they display the right colored pieces. That's easy to do using getImage from our images class. Now our promotion menu should work. We just have to show it from the main window. Here we'll add a bit of code to on-to-position-selected. When a pawn is moved to a promotion square, 4 different promotion moves are generated, one for each piece type. But because these moves have the same to position, only one of them will be stored in the move cache. So if the chosen move is one of the promotion moves, then we call a dedicated handle promotion method, passing in the moves from and to position. For all other moves, we'll just use handle move. Okay, let's write handle promotion. The parameters are the from and to position of the moving pawn. As an intermediate step, we'll show the pawn at the to position and hide it at the from position. After that, we create a promotion menu. Here we have to pass in the current player. Next, we add this menu to the menu container. This will make it appear on screen. Finally, we register an event handler for its piece selected event. The code we write here will be executed when the player chooses a piece to promote to. So at that point, we'll hide the menu and then create a pawn promotion move with the chosen piece type. This move can now be executed by handle move. If we scroll back up to on to position selected, this code should now make sense. When a player moves a pawn to a promotion square, we do get a promotion move from the move cache. But we cannot just execute that move immediately. First, the player must choose which piece to promote to. Handle promotion takes care of the selection and then executes the resulting move. Okay, let's see it in action. If I move a pawn to a promotion square, it appears at that square and the promotion menu shows up. I can now choose which piece I want, and the pawn is then promoted to that piece. It also works for the black player, of course. That's it for this video. In the next part, we'll add castling moves to the game. See you then.